What's up guys, and the most popular iPhone of the year is here. The brand new iPhone SE. I've been checking this phone out for a couple of days and that got me thinking, does Samsung have anything as a competitor to this phone? And that's where I saw in the news that this smartphone is Samsung's best-selling phone in 2020. Yes, we're talking about the Samsung Galaxy A51. This phone cost a little less than the iPhone SE, coming at $350. Everything from the looks and the specs on paper, this phone is just better than the iPhone SE second generation. But is it actually better in real life? That is the question that I'm gonna answer for you guys in this video. Is the Galaxy A51 ultimate answer to the iPhone SE or not? Let's get right into it. So design-wise, at $350, you're definitely getting a modern-looking phone from Samsung. It clearly looks better than the iPhone SE in pretty much every single way. We've got the punch hole setup. It's a large Super AMOLED 1080p display. It makes the iPhone look outdated, but wait a second. This right here is still a flagship design from 2017, so when you compare it to this mid-range phone, you're getting premium materials like aluminum and glass, and they actually feel much better in hand. Like you're holding a phone that is much more refined and premium looking. I think design-wise, the A51 is better, but do let me know in the poll section what you guys think. So at this price range, do people actually care about design and looks, or they want the best camera and performance experience? The numbers look great, but how well they perform in real life in this 4.7-inch body, that is the question. So as always, we'll kick things off by booting up both phones at the same time. Here we go. And this is the usual kickoff of the speed test, just to see which one loads up their respective software quicker. So Android 10 here on the Galaxy A51. I believe this is One UI 2.0. Samsung is currently rolling out 2.1 for this phone pretty soon. And over here, this is iPhone with the iOS 13.4.1, and it is way quicker than the Galaxy A51 when it comes to booting up. So as always, everything is closed up in the background. Kicking things off with some lighter application, starting with Phone Dialer. And that felt more or less quick on both phones. Settings, and a little bit quicker on the iPhone SE. Basic app feels quick on both phones. Let's have some third-party fun, starting with Subway Surfers on both phones. And let's see, you can tell that both phones were really close there. The Galaxy A51, despite being a mid-range phone, that wasn't a huge difference as I expected first. Next up, we have YouTube. That's definitely faster on the iPhone SE. Spotify. iPhone once again. Quora. This time Galaxy A51 a little bit quicker there. If we scroll around, you can see the A51 is kind of struggling. I felt a little bit of frame drop, whereas on the iPhone it's just really smooth. The experience is almost the same as my $1,300 iPhone 11 Pro Max. Well, here you do feel a bit of that mid-range performance experience, but so far it's doing good with the apps opening. Let's get down to the next app, which is going to be Reddit, and that is quicker on the Galaxy A51. It was faster with the feed. If we scroll around, you can once again see that it kind of chops out. You know, it's not entirely buttery smooth. That is the power of having the Apple A13 or like a strong chipset on your phone. So definitely performance goes to the A13 on the iPhone SE. As far as opening the app and loading the feed, that was quicker on this phone. Performance is something that will matter to most people, so that is definitely looking better on the iPhone. Now let's check out the PUBG mobile game, and let's see, this is like a really popular game that a lot of people play, so you can see the iPhone is kind of flying through the loading times. Galaxy A51, can it come back? No, I guess the iPhone is done. So I'm just gonna quickly start a match. I've set the graphics all the way to the max on the iPhone, and I've done the same thing on this phone. So here you can see that iPhone is just so buttery smooth, even with like that high settings. Just to give you guys a quick of a sneak peek of the iPhone performance, you can see everything is just so Ultra HD, 60 FPS locked. Incredible performance for a $399 phone. Let's see what performance we get on the Galaxy A51. I'm loading the match. You see, this is where you see the flagship chip versus the mid-range one. It took quite a while to start this match. Here we already can see that the effects and everything is looking really good. Honestly, this is way too smooth. Let's check it out on the Galaxy A51, and right off the bat I can tell that it's definitely struggling a little bit. Doesn't have that, whoa, look at that frame drop. If you want to have the best and the smoothest experience, definitely do lower the settings to high or even at low. I think it should be able to run at, you know, medium settings, but on the iPhone side things are just way too smooth, which is just incredible for a $399 phone. Let's get out of this application. Launching another game that is going to be Asphalt 9. And once again, you can tell the loading times are looking smooth and fast on the iPhone SE 2nd gen. And it is done. And just in the menus, you can feel that it is rocking those 60 frames per second. If I just start a match here real quick, this is insane performance. With all the apps that I've opened already on the Galaxy A51, you can kind of see that it is definitely struggling. It took a while to start the game. So let's just start a stage real quick. On the iPhone, you can once again see this is full 60 frames per second. Of course, it's a smaller display, but as far as the performance is concerned, it is doing amazing. Galaxy A51, look, this just is such a huge gap, you know, this is such a huge gap. It's already struggling in the menus, and now it is running the app on 30 frames per second. It is definitely playable. At the same time, you're getting a much better performance on the iPhone at this almost the same price. Next up, I have Lightroom. That's faster on the iPhone SE. Now I've loaded up a raw image on both phones. Let's see the export speeds. Obviously, once again, you can expect the iPhone to just be better, but just to show you the experience and the difference between these two phones at the same price that people don't see on paper. So here we go. That is done on the iPhone, and this one is still taking some time, quite a lot of time. And wow, okay, now it is done. Next we have Instagram, and that is definitely quicker, a little bit quicker on the iPhone SE. But if we scroll around, that feels optimized on both phones. Galaxy A51 is doing a much better job in scrolling the feed than it did in other applications. So loading up my profile, that was pretty quick on both phones, already loaded, lock and loaded. Let's check out the Insta camera speed. Definitely quicker on the iPhone SE. No problemo. Now, last but not the least, we have cameras on both phones. Here we go. And once again, quicker on the iPhone SE. But once again, pricing are very similar, so it does make sense for this comparison to be. Now, time for a browsing test. I'll be loading this website on both phones, wbe.com. And that is, let's see, quicker on the iPhone SE. No, okay, so A51 actually finished the website a bit quicker than the iPhone SE. More or less, they're same in the Wi-Fi speed, browsing speed, scrolling around, zooming in and out. It just feels better on the iPhone SE. Next, I have the wikipedia.org. That is just way too quick on the iPhone SE. What a performance indeed. But let's check out the RAM management. This is where the A51 can actually defeat the iPhone because it has 6 gigs of RAM versus 3 over here. So phone dollar, that is still there on both phones. Settings, Subway Surfers. The iPhone kept it there. And same thing with the Galaxy A51. YouTube, still there on both phones. Spotify, still there. Wow, so far, very impressive from the iPhone. I did not expect that. Quora still there. Reddit. Okay, so Reddit got refreshed on the iPhone, and Galaxy A51 kept it there, so you can see that advantage coming into the game. We've got PUBG got refreshed on both phones. Yes, so this is a big game, and both phones refreshed that. But once again, the reload is faster on the iPhone SE. Asphalt 9, that's actually still there on the iPhone, whereas it got refreshed on the Galaxy A51. Interesting comeback. Lightroom, still there on both phones. Instagram, that is still there. And lastly, we are back to the browser. So incredible RAM performance on both phones. I have to say the iPhone kind of made it even by loading the Asphalt 9. Even with 3 gigs of RAM, it is doing incredible. So while Galaxy A51 is not a laggy or a crappy phone, but like at the same price, you're getting a flagship performance on this phone. Despite it being looking outdated, you're getting that $1,300 performance. Even with the application where this phone was like faster in loading, the actual scrolling around was smoother on the iPhone SE, and that's just great Apple optimization. It will have 5 years of software support as well, which is something that you never get from Samsung no matter which phone you buy. Something I definitely want from Samsung to be changed. So that was the speed. Now let's talk about the cameras. Surely on paper, the Galaxy A51 just absolutely destroys the iPhone. It's got 4 cameras on the back versus just one puny little camera of the iPhone SE. Galaxy A51 is packing a 48 megapixel sensor. It's got ultra wide angle lens. It's got a depth sensor, a zoom setup. The iPhone comes with the single camera that Apple claims is the best they have ever put on an iPhone. Once again, on paper, an average Joe will pick the Galaxy A51, but what about the actual performance? So in the camera test, I truly felt like I'm comparing a flagship camera to a mid-range camera. Like in every way, the colors, the detail, the dynamic range was just so much better on the iPhone side. The Galaxy A51 is doing a lot of software enhancement. It is over sharpening the details, even outdoor. Samsung has to do some correction on that. Samsung has its own processing going on. Pictures comes out a bit cooler tone, whereas on the iPhone, the images are warmer, but they have more detail, and they are also kind of more closer to the real life. The Galaxy A51 does have a 48 megapixel mode, which you actually use in a bright environment. You do get a lot of detail, but the difference was nowhere near as you would imagine comparing to a 12 megapixel iPhone SE photo. As for the front camera, the skin tones on the iPhone is just the best compared to any phone out there, and no matter what I tried in the settings, the skin tones just didn't look that good on the Galaxy A51. Also, the dynamic range is better on the iPhone side. Samsung is giving you 32 megapixel front camera, but in comparison to the 8 megapixel iPhone SE front camera, it again doesn't add that up well. You gotta give it to Apple. They've done some amazing job with this camera. Now, the Galaxy A51 does have an ultra wide angle lens, which I do want to say does give you more option to play with if you're taking photos of a landscape. The ultra wide angle lens will always provide you more area to play with. That is something that you don't have on the iPhone SE. Both phones can shoot 4K video with the back camera. Once again, Apple just has the best video performance on any phone, and you can just clearly see that. The video performance is almost as good as my iPhone 11 Pro Max, and dynamic range, colors, they're just too good for the 4K video of the Galaxy A51 to handle. Once again, you can take 4K ultra wide videos, which is nice, but again, quality and the dynamic range, all that stuff will take a hit. So definitely video wise, there's just no comparison. As for the front camera, you can shoot 4K front camera video on the Galaxy A51 versus the 1080p on the iPhone SE. Once again, colors and dynamic range kind of look better on the iPhone SE side. Again, you guys can see the difference. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Now, iPhone SE doesn't have a night mode officially, but through a very popular app called as Neural Cam, you can get a pretty good night mode result, actually very comparable to the default night mode of the Galaxy A51. It's just absolutely crazy to me that if you look on paper, this phone just destroys the camera here, but like this single camera is just better in every way possible. And that just concludes the whole comparison. I hope you guys have enjoyed this full comparison, including the speed and camera. If you want me to compare the iPhone SE to another device, let me know in the comment section below. Do subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.